With Crainer. Today I'm here with Luke Piskovic from Piskey's Mobile Auto Detailing, and born and raised in Windsor. At the age of 16, he began his first job as a car wash attendant, washing and drying cars after school. And then in 2010, he turned this part-time job into a full-time career, what we see today. So I'm really excited to talk about entrepreneurship, this very, very fascinating business here. We have an Aston Martin behind us, a beautiful boat to the right of us as well. And it's going to be a great conversation. I hope you enjoy. Luke, to start things off, how did you start this career in auto detailing?
Well, first things first, thanks for having me. It's really cool. I like what you're doing in the community, interviewing people like this. It's cool, right? It's cool to watch, cool to see, cool to listen. So I really
thank you.
Applaud you on that. Actually, I started next door at the Tecumseh car wash right here.
Okay.
Right across from the tracks.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, that was my first job, my second job. My first job was picking weeds for one of the guys on Riverside Drive, picking weeds for a little bit of money after school. Left that, and I got hired at Tecumseh Auto Spa, right? So then I was in the car wash bay there, drying and washing cars.
Yep.
You know, that's high production work. I learned as a kid, you got to haul ass, you got to work fast, because cars are coming down the line, right? So from there, you know, I showed that, you know, I went from like the vac bay to the drying bay, then I got promoted to the detail shop. So then I had this whole like epiphany or whatever it's called, epitome or whatever the word is, that, you know, if this guy's paying this company this much to detail their car, shit, I'm the one doing it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I swore, but like, why can't I just do this myself?
On your own, right?
Yeah, on my own. So as the years went, I spent a good portion of my like teenage years in the car wash at the detail bay, and then on the side, you know, made my own little business cards. Mm-hmm. While I'm working, I was like, hey, don't come here. I'll come to your house.
Yeah.
Right. So then I didn't have my license at the time. As I progressed and got my license, I used my dad's truck. I rounded up some basic detailing supplies, and then those people that I were giving business cards to were actually calling me. So I would go after work to their house, clean their cars for even more money than I was making on a daily wage at the auto spa.
Yes.
Right. So
you knew it was the time to switch.
And then, you know, being a young kid, you know, yeah, back then I forget what I was being paid, $8 an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're getting $150 a car. You know, if somebody offers you $150, in my mind, I'm like, how fast can I get that $150 without working all day, right? And when you do the math, you know, you do 2 cars a day, it's like, holy shit, you know, after school, after work, it's a great side hustle. Or, you know, I still went to school. I did all my learning. I passed just by like the skin of my teeth, right? But as I went to school, I would leave school, go in my truck, you know, go to people's houses and clean their cars. At that time, I just needed their hose, their water, and their power. I had the rest of the supplies. So then from there, I was still working at a bunch of dealerships. I went from Tecumseh Auto Spa to Strickland's when they opened. So I was a detailer there. Mm-hmm. I would work all there for a paycheck, go to school, after school, detail cars, make a little bit more money, use that money to invest in some products and tools, right? And then from there, I left and went to Drive Max. I don't know if you remember Drive Max, where the old Next Dimension building is there. Mm-hmm. I was a detailer there. And then I finished school, and then I couldn't get a job in my HR degree or diploma. So it was really hard to get an HR job back then.
Yeah.
You know, everybody promises you the moon when you're in school, but when it comes time to actually find a job, it's the hardest thing ever, right? So, and then after I didn't get a job in HR, I applied for the second career program. So they sent me back to school, and I picked border service officer. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll be a border guard.
Yeah.
While I was doing border services, it was actually a grant program. They're paying you to go back to school. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm paying a paycheck. I just got to go to school. I'm getting paid to go to school. But then after school, I'm still detailing cars.
Yeah. So just to kind of go into that further, it sounds like you were detailing cars throughout this entire time.
Whole time.
How come it didn't click for you? Hey, why don't I just go ahead and do this?
I was scared because it's almost like, your parents, they want you to go to school. They want you to progress and get a good career.
Mm-hmm.
Car washing, right? Everyone's like, oh, you can't just wash cars your whole life.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, then it's that fear of my parents, disappointment.
Yeah.
So luckily they were really supportive. My dad, he's really supportive of me. Like he helps me build like my vans and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. My mom, she's a realtor. She's a successful realtor of like 30 years, right? So she taught me like work ethic. My dad, both of them combined, you don't just go home and sit on the couch.
Yeah.
Right. You work hard, you get what you pay for, you get what you earn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after when I was in border services school, what clicked was the program ended and then, the money runs dry, right? Luckily, I'm a really good saver. I'm European, so my dad's always like, save, 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 right? So I would save my money, and I saved up enough money to figure out, I had a little bit of time to figure out what I actually wanted to do. So in my head, I'm like, okay, so, I told my dad, I'm like, listen, I have an idea. Let's build out a van. I won't rent a shop. I'll work in parking lots. Low overhead. I got cell phone insurance, buy a van. We'll do a build out and we'll figure out how to wash a car out of the back of a van.
Yes. So
when I got an opportunity to write my border services test, I failed by like 3 points. And then I'm like, the hell with this border service stuff. I told my dad, I'm like, let's just figure this out. So I went online at the time and I used any type of resource. I was like, you know what, is there any grants around for small business? And at the time, I think it was like a federal grant through, I forget, behind the mall there by Toys R Us. What's it called?
Not sure.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Small Business Center or whatever.
Yep.
One of them. I remember her name, Karen Gilgore. She put me through this program for, you can get a grant up to like, I think it was like $17,000 for the first
to start your business
9 months or whatever, plus guidance. I was like, shit, I already have enough money to start a business. You don't need much because it's all low overhead. If you look around, there's not much stuff in here.
Yep.
Right. So I used that grant and the experience of what they gave me, and I used the grant money, to keep me afloat to pay, my insurance and whatever, and my daily running around costs and gas and fuel and whatever. So then I actually got that grant. They put me on my way, and at that time, people are still gonna laugh. They still laugh, but my first business name was Buffia Mobile Auto Detailing.
Oh, where did that come from?
It was just like trying to figure out a business name that's not like standard, something that a little bit of punch.
So was it Buff?
Buffia.
Oh, Buffia.
Instead of like
yeah.
like Buffia, right?
Okay, yeah.
So then me and my buddy, I brought him on and we were running around cleaning cars as Buffia, right? But then as the time gone, I started meeting like really good clients. Like,
didn't take it.
who'd I cut the check to? Buffia. And they're like, what? Buffia.
So you knew it was time to change it.
So
to
time to change, right? So then it came time to change. So while I was in that program, I changed to Piskey's, right? And at the time, me and my dad set out on Kijiji. We went and found like a big mobile van, an express van. So I still remember back there in the alleyway buying that van with my cash that I saved from all the car washes and stuff. So I still never touched the money from the grant, right? So once I got the van, me and my dad set out at home and we're like, hey, how do we wash a car out of this thing, right? So we went to a farmer's field, bought a water tank, bought a power washer, bought a bunch of standard tools.
Yeah.
Me and him rigged it up so we can start washing cars out of the back of a van. And then back in 2010, when I went full out, got my HST number, registered business, I got my van wrapped. I would sit in like Sobeys parking lot here with my dad's van behind me, or a truck behind me, and I'd be washing my dad's van because I had no clients at that particular time.
Mm-hmm.
Steady people. I would wash my dad's truck in the parking lot.
And people would see.
Yeah, they would see, and they're like, this what's that guy doing? He's soaping a car in the middle of the parking lot. And then they'd come over, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just washing this truck. Oh, how much charge? What did you do? When can you do mine? Here's a card, here's a card, here's a card. That's how I'd gain clients back then.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's perfect way to market yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
And then ever since then, I would take pictures. It's funny. I actually have it. It's at my house. I have my binder. I would take pictures on my Polaroid or little disposable cameras of all like the before and afters. I'd put them in you go to Shoppers and print them out.
Yep.
Put them in the plastic, and that'd be my like portfolio before Facebook, before YouTube, all that. Right? I still have it. It still reminds me. It keeps me humble. Like, hey,
yeah,
you want your car details? Here's some examples I got of like cars I've done. Right? And that was my selling feature. Right? So now I'm full-fledged. I'm on my own. Now I can work out of my van. At the end of the day, close up, go home. Right? Start fresh in the morning. Try and find some new clients. If not, sit in a parking lot, pretend to wash somebody else's car or my own car, whatever. People flock, and it spreads like wildfire.
And it's really evolved from not just like you said, like in a parking lot, soap and water type of thing. The type of detailing that you're doing now is like top notch, right? Can you walk us through what it is exactly that you would do in this beautiful garage that we're in right now?
So I've over the years, as I'm getting older, this is really labor intensive business.
Yeah.
No one's gonna do it for me because I don't have a big team. So it's just me. I'm the face, I'm the detailer, I'm the technician. I'm not much of a businessman. I try to be, but I consider myself a technician.
Yep.
Right? I'm a tech for my own company. Right? So no one's gonna wash this car here for me. I gotta do it myself. Right? How can I wash that car better than the owner can, but impress the owner a little bit more, right? So I kept what gets me going is like the self gratification of like instant gratification from how I just showed you on that Aston. That little bit of difference goes a long way. And if I can show you that as a person that you really didn't know about the difference I can make in that car, that gets me going for the next car, right? Like how can I improve myself, my skills, which I did over the years, is take on bigger projects, bigger cars, learn to polish paint better than anyone around. So
and there's coatings you add to these vehicles as well, right?
Yeah, so that's with new technology that came around, is the ceramic coatings, right? So that's like the icing on the cake. I always tell people though, don't depend on the coating. Let's make the cake look good first, bake it nice, but that's where the polishing is, right?
Yep.
You don't want to put lipstick like on a pig kind of deal, right? You want to make it look as best as can, then put a coating on top. But when you do that, you still have a lot of maintenance program that I try and educate my clients on, like how to safely wash the car, what to use to dry it, make sure what I did and what they invested in on their new car looks good. So like when I do see them out on the street or whatever, the car's not dirty, it's staying clean, it still looks nice, it looks like I took care of it. But if they don't have time to take care of it, they always got me on the back end. I can come to their house in the van, wash the car in their driveway, and be on with my day. They can go on with their day. They don't even have to be home, right?
So is grabbing a towel that you use in the washroom and drying your car, is that a no-no?
Yeah, for me, I don't know. For me, everyone has their own ways. I try and educate clients on like I told one guy yesterday, if a towel costs me $100 and I can wipe that panel once and it's dry and streak free and it saves me 5 minutes a car, I'm paying $100 for that towel.
Yeah.
For me personally, because my day goes by like this, because I have to wake up in the morning, have enough energy to be like, hey, I have to wash this many cars today, plus polish, plus setup, plus do laundry, plus this, plus. That 5 minutes that towel costs, I would buy 50 of them, right?
Yeah.
So like, I try and educate people on different, wash materials. Like I say, you look around, I don't have a lot of stuff. I keep it minimal. You need one nice soap, one nice towel, one nice interior towel, like one of each. You should master each one. I don't go out and buy everything that comes out, I'm still using stuff from 2012, 2013 today, right? I don't need to change. What do I need to change for, right?
Yeah.
Keeps my expense down, keeps my, like, if I have to replace something, even I don't have to buy 10 things. I just have to replace that one thing.
And so just going back a little bit to when you were working at the, was it the auto spa?
Yeah.
Like, are you a car fanatic? Do you like expensive cars? Or was it more of like the satisfaction of taking something that is in poor shape and making it look top notch?
For me, I like cars.
Yeah.
My tinter Ryan, he'll probably roast me on here. I don't know much about cars.
Yeah.
Right? I know how, like, the general mechanics and whatnot, right? That doesn't turn my gears. What turns my gears is me taking it from, a state of disarray to a polished, finished product, right?
Yeah.
So that's what gets me going every day, is like, how can I impress you as a client, bringing me your expensive car that you're putting your trust in me, and on me on the back end, I'm like, okay, I have this huge liability because some of these cars are, people's second biggest investment besides their house.
Yeah.
Right. So, you got 100 grand sitting here, one wrong move, whose pocket's going to come out of mine, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that guy to, devalue the vehicle, right? So I do any kind of precautions I can to, like, not have that happen. I think it's like science. What pad, what liquid, what speed, what machine, am I doing too much, doing too little? Like, I always think before I work, right? When it comes to, like, running a machine or whatever on paint. But like I said, I love cars. I love newer, I'm not a big old muscle car guy. I like polished, refined, like Porsche. I'm a big Porsche guy. I like Porsches, fit and finish, body lines, everything. You get in that car, you can daily drive it, you can beat the hell out of it, right? I love that type of car.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many cars in Windsor now. The car community is huge. From 2015 till now, the amount of cars that are in Windsor now, like this type of cars, crazy. And a lot of the stuff you don't see, I'll see it because some of them are like collector pieces, right? I'll see it in their collection when I go to their house to service one of the cars. But, here, there's a bunch of cars and coffees that are happening, and, get-togethers like the Windsor Exotic Group or like the RM Cars and Coffees. Like, all these car guys are coming together and having fun, enjoying their babies, their toys, right? Yep. Plus, it's a social gatherings, right? It's huge in Windsor right now.
So when you started, would you go to something like that, coffee and cars meetup, and just?
At the time, I didn't have a car to go there with, like, to show off or whatever. But
like with your vans that you purchased, right?
I would take my van, clean it up. I would go to the Cars and Coffees and walk around. At the time, like, I've never, since 2000, maybe 11, pushed online like, hey, I have a sale. I have, I can wash your car today. I have openings. I've never had that because I've always had something to do. And by the time that thing that I'm doing is done, I have another one or two lined up.
That's a great position to be in, right? Like, it's minimal cost to you. You're not going out there and pushing advertising everywhere. People just know from the quality of your work, Luke's the guy to go to.
Yeah, I try and show it online through, like, the Instagram and the socials the best I can. All that is just me personally with the help. Sometimes I bring in some creators and stuff that, see my stuff. They don't get the chance to, like I said, like that Rolls Royce. You didn't get the chance to actually meet the guy to say, hey, let me video your car. They can't be bothered, but it's already here. I'll bring them in like that. Or if the car's here, I don't have time to bring someone in. I'm doing the content myself to the best I can and posting online. People see that, it snowballs. So then if you show something really nice or you did a good job on, it's like you get one job, you get 5 people asking, and you just pick, who's the easiest to work with, who actually values your time, right? It's never about the money. It just values your time, right? And values what you do. It's just, and then them as a good person, right?
Yeah.
Right?
And then it leads to referrals, right? Like I imagine your business is now just referrals.
It's just referrals. I don't have a sign on the building.
Yeah.
You probably couldn't even find me online. I don't have my address online.
Yep.
If people want to find me, like I have to set it up to the point that you have to actually find me and talk to me personally to like bring you into here.
Mm-hmm.
I take care of my core, since I started business, they're my core.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody new that's hearing about me through like their friends or referrals, I have to like filter through, right? And
because you can't do everything. You know what I mean? Like especially just on your own.
I'm 35. I'm 35. I don't even know, right? I'm 35. I feel like I'm 85. I might look like I'm 35 years old, but deep down inside, when I go home at the end of the day, I can't wake up in the morning, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's labor intensive.
Yeah, because like I'm jumping around in the vans, out picking up cars, climbing in some of these cars. I can't even get. I feel like I'm 90 years old getting out of some of these cars because they're so low, and you're trying to clean inside the nooks and crannies, right?
Yep.
It's hard, but in all, it's fun. It's just a lot of hard work.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you that right now. People see it online. I got a lot of respect online from like, the work I put out. A lot of people like respect the work. It's just, you got to show value for what you're offering.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. And this leads to my next question. You mentioned you feel 90, you look 25, right? What's next for your business? If you had to, there's a crystal ball 10 years from now, where's Piskey's Mobile Auto Detailing going to be?
Honestly, every time I meet a new client, I look around, I'm like, oh, nice house, nice cars. I look at them like, hey man, you want to buy a washed up car wash? And just to see if they'll buy me out. Okay. And then I'll just work for them at their house, and I'll pick their weeds and clean their car or whatever all day.
Yeah.
It's a hard gamble because like I never stopped since I started.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was having a conversation with my friend before. He's like, you ever struggle? I'm like, struggle for what? I was like, ever since I started, every day I wake up and I would just clean cars.
Do you ever take breaks, like a vacation or anything like that? Like,
I never took vacations until I got married, and my wife forced me, and she took me on some nice vacations. Now I'm a vacation snob, right?
Yeah.
I like going on vacations, but like going back to like the never stopping.
Yeah.
I never had to, like, I see online, everyone's like, oh, I struggled with work and finding work and this and that. If you put it out there, people are going to come, right? You just got to put it out there. Mm-hmm. Show them what you got, show them the value. Don't be scared. Have confidence in yourself to like, hey, I can turn this car around in this amount of time, but it's going to look this good or that good for what they're paying.
Yes.
Right? You either give them a hot dog or you give them a steak. What do you want, right? So you can't.
Did you give them a hot dog or a steak?
I gave them a hot dog and some condiments, right?
Okay.
So like, it depends on what we're doing, right?
Yep.
You can't perfect every car that comes in the shop because it takes time to do that. Mm-hmm. It's not just wash dry and it's going to come clean. And
it takes time.
You run a machine over it, it's just going to come right up. So like I said, looking back, I've never struggled because every day I just wake up, I'm like, hey, I got a haul ass. I got this many cars to clean today. If I get all those cars cleaned today, I can relax later, but I never relax because I just worry about the next day.
Yeah.
Right. And
and that's what it's like being an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah. Like you have to figure it out. The best part of entrepreneurship, you get freedom, but freedom comes at a cost of, late days, late nights, early mornings. It is what it is. You have to figure it out. I wake up in the morning. Well, now, since I had my son, I'll wake up in the morning. I kind of put work on the back burner, right? It's all about family. Mm-hmm. So like my wife sleeps in till like 9 if she works late. Mm-hmm. I'll stay home till 10 o'clock, play with my little kid Max.
Yep.
Once my wife's ready to go, like today, I was watching him till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wake up, playing with him, set him up for the day. I'm like, you know what? Okay, gotta go. I go in my van and come here. I'm like, okay.
Now let's get to work.
What do I have to do today and accomplish before somebody's, calling me like, hurry up and get here and do my car because the weekend's coming.
Yep.
Right? It's already Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And my phone's going off that people are nervous because it rained and their car's not ready for the weekend for them to enjoy when they actually, have time to enjoy.
Yep.
Right. So you have to figure that out, put life in perspective of like, it's not always just work. It's like, family, spend time with your kids.
Yeah, no, it's a balance, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like it just can't be work, because that's you just burn yourself out, and there's no.
It's not worth burning yourself out because what? We all end up the same underground, right? What are you gonna burn out for?
Yeah.
I always tell people, be patient. The car will come around.
Yeah.
Don't worry, your new car, you're gonna be able to drive it, right? Like
It'll still be here.
I told you earlier, like somebody with 5 cars, they want the car that's here, but they don't want to drive the other 4 cars, and I have to yell at them to drive the other 4 cars because it's like, man, relax.
Yeah.
I'm doing my job. I'll get your car back. You have it for the weekend. Put some miles on the cars that you don't drive. Oh, I guess I can do that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, don't burn yourself out. It's not worth it.
Yep.
I learned that. I hauled ass from then till now. I'm 35. I'm still young, but I feel old. But now with a family, I take all that into consideration of like work can wait.
Yes.
Right? So,
I really appreciate that perspective.
Yeah.
Folks, you got to come see this place. It's beautiful. I mean, just like the artwork in here is awesome. Over to the right, it's like a Grand Theft Auto mock-up.
I made that myself.
You made it yourself? It looks beautiful.
All the content like that, I downloaded the template. I took my own pictures. I made it like a cartoon app on my phone. I photoshopped it. I mimicked it. And my buddy printed it on a banner, framed it off. So it's like, I don't want to just hang car pictures around the shop of random cars.
Yeah, you want it to be unique, right?
Unique. You got to be unique. You got to work clean, right? Put your stuff away. If you notice, there's nothing on the floor.
No, it's clean. I'd eat off the floors. Like if you cook me a steak, I'd eat off the floor. It's that clean.
I spend 20% of my working day cleaning up after myself and working clean as I'm working because I don't want to work in a mess.
Yep.
I want to work like a human being, work nice, clean.
And your customers see that too, right? If they come in and it's dirty and they're like, my car's not going in here.
Yeah. Well, you know how many times people walk in, they're like, whoa, 9 times out of 10, I got crazy stuff in here, but they're like, oh shit, nothing's on the floor. Everything's on wheels. Why? So you can dust and clean up after yourself. You don't have to move stuff, right?
Yeah. You
need to like work efficient at what you're doing, have a passion for what you're doing, work efficient, get stuff done, work-life balance, all that takes into play, right? It all comes down to how hard you actually want to work
to see that reward.
To see your reward, right? You want a nice car? Hey, how much is it? 50 grand? Can I do a side hustle and earn, $500-600 an extra week, put towards my 50 grand car, right? Like, what can you do extra? Like me, I always look at how can I spend less time working and enjoying more life, but still doing what I'm doing, right?
Finding those efficiencies, right?
Comes through efficiencies, like I show you with the vans and like the products and scaling back. Everybody goes out to buys the latest, greatest things, the newest, greatest tools, but in reality, you don't need it.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, right? The value comes right here. My expertise that I'm giving you as a client, right? If you take it in, you take it in. If you don't, you don't. You go back to your old ways. I try and help out more than I, show. But it comes down to like just, be humble, respect what you're doing, have passion, and love what you do.
Awesome. I think it's a really great words to wrap up. This was an exciting interview. I learned a lot from you in this conversation. And those that are watching, check out Luke on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
At Piskey's, Piskeys.
Awesome.
I try and post as much as I can on there to show you guys what's going on. I try and share other people's content. So everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Support each other, support local, and be sure to visit Piskey's Mobile Auto Detailing. Thank you so much.